Can a pig also be a key character in exorcism? A priest pressed the head of a madman, who turned out to be possessed by a demon. The priest taunted the demon, saying, "You are just a weak and powerless spirit. You can only bully the honest." The demon became furious and agitated upon hearing this. The priest said, "If you can possess a pig, then I'll believe you have the ability." In order to prove itself, the demon jumped directly into the body of a pig. The priest instructed his companion to shoot and kill the pig directly. From then on, the demon obediently returned to hell. The astonishing story of the priest's exorcism begins in 1987. Judy came to Spain with her 2 children to deal with the inheritance left by her husband. It turned out that Judy's husband had tragically died in a car accident a year ago. The inheritance he left behind was only an abandoned monastery in Spain. Judy planned to renovate it and then sell it. As the buyer, the church sent Father Abel to oversee the construction. Judy's eldest daughter, Wendy, does not like this place. While wandering around, her younger son Tino discovered a hole in the wall. Through the hole, he saw strange patterns inside, and cracks were spreading at a certain speed. Father Albert is the chief exorcist of the Vatican. This morning, he was called to a hearing. A month ago, he performed an exorcism without proper authorization, and the priest who accompanied him reported this to the Vatican. According to the rules of the Vatican, exorcists must obtain permission from the higher authorities of the church before performing exorcisms. Albert felt that the higher authorities were looking for him because the Department of Psychology had requested the Vatican to revoke his title as the chief exorcist. They didn't believe in the existence of demons in this world. Albert retorted, asking what the meaning of the church's existence would be if there were no demons. The bishops present fell silent. Albert smiled and warned them to be careful with the Department of Psychology, or else they would all be unemployed. After Albert finished speaking, he turned around and left. Late at night, Judy was inspecting the renovation checklist when she heard a knocking sound from outside. When she went outside, she felt an unusual chill and then went to Tino's room. She found Tino sleeping with headphones on. After she took away the earphones, Tino suddenly opened his eyes. It was still early in the morning, and the workers were starting to arrive. One of the workers noticed the hole in the wall. He heard sounds coming from inside through the hole. Because the lighting was too dim, another person decided to light a fire for illumination. However, there was an explosion the moment he ignited it. Both individuals were severely burned. The foreman suspected that there might be a natural gas deposit below. Therefore, they halted the construction for safety reasons. The cracks on the pattern continued to spread. At the same time, Tino started experiencing abnormality. He had seizures and a blurred consciousness. When Judy and Wendy rushed over, they found Tino able to speak. It turned out that Tino hadn't spoken since Judy's husband passed away a year ago. However, as Tino sat up and stared at them, he said, "All of you will die." After saying that, he began frantically scratching his face. Judy took him to the hospital for an examination, but the doctors didn't find any issues. In the evening, while Judy was on the phone, Tino sat up. Judy embraced her son to comfort him, but Tino started touching Judy's chest. He had a lewd smile on his face. Then Tino lifted Judy's shirt. The word hatred appeared on his stomach. Tino used a strange voice to command them to quickly find a priest. Father Abel had just entered the room. The next second, he was thrown out of the doorway. It seems that the devil is not looking for him. The ordeal of Judy's family reached the Pope. The Pope felt that their situation was unusual. According to records, that monastery had experienced bad things in the past. The Pope can feel a power spreading out, so he cautioned exorcist Albert to be careful. As soon as Albert arrived, he noticed something strange about the dried-up well in the courtyard. Albert entered the room. Then he used the Vatican seal to suppress the devil. Afterward, he began to pray. The possessed boy opened his eyes. He told Albert that prayers would not work. Albert held the medal in front of the boy. The other person's eyeballs also split into gold. The devil said, "I have come to find you. God is not here either." After he finished speaking, the cross on the wall fell down. Albert lured the other person to reveal their name, because in order to successfully exorcise, he needed to know the demon's identity. A red bird flew out of the boy's mouth. Albert was instantly stunned, because this scene reminded him of something bad. Then he hurriedly left the room. Albert thought it was Abel who revealed it to the devil, but Abel said he had only entered for a second. Perhaps the demon had known Albert for a long time. Later, the priest learned from Judy that her husband had a car accident a year ago. Tino witnessed his father's head being impaled by a steel rod at close range. He never spoke again. Albert believed this was the reason he was chosen by the demon. The demon can sense people's vulnerabilities, and then it possessed the boy's soul. At night, Wendy went to check on her brother, but she was told by the demon that the boy was already dead. After Wendy ran back to her room, she heard the phone ringing. She connected the phone and found that the voice coming from inside was her father's voice. Wendy was very distraught. Albert told them, "The demon is stronger at night than during the day. It is normal for strange things to happen here. All Albert can do is pray non-stop. This caused the devil to feel pain. Exorcists must repent to God before praying, for the mistakes they have made. These mistakes will become vulnerabilities for the devil to attack." The mistake that Father Abel repented for was, he hadn't repented for 8 months. Then Albert and the others burned incense in the room, and prepared holy water. The devil kept mocking, but Albert and the others didn't react. The devil also became restless. Later, Albert brought Father Abel to the bedside to pray. Soon, the devil had a reaction. The entire monastery lost power. Albert could sense that something was wrong, so he used a lighter to survey the surroundings. A familiar woman appeared in front of him. The woman said her soul had gone to hell. Albert was instantly at a loss. The devil became even more arrogant when he saw the attack was effective. He also knew that Father Abel had something to hide. Abel, except for confession, he had other secrets. This would make it difficult to continue the exorcism. So they paused the ritual and left the room. The devil laughed at Albert for being deceived, because their church was crumbling from within. Father Abel confessed everything to Albert. It turned out that he had encountered a beloved woman. His girlfriend wants him to give up priesthood. Abel promised but didn't fulfill the promise. He has been feeling guilty. Albert helped him complete his confession on the spot. The woman Albert saw during the exorcism earlier, her name is Gina. Gina was possessed at the time, but Albert didn't intervene due to the devil's deception. The devil can sense the human heart's vulnerability, but in order to deal with the devil, they must know the name of the entity. Albert suspects that the boy is not the target of the devil. The devil may have even more sinister plans. Then Albert remembered the dried up well he saw. It's raining outside. After he pulled off the vines covering the well, he discovered that it was actually a Vatican seal. There must be something very dangerous sealed below. Then Albert used his motorcycle to pull open the well cover. At the same time, the crucifix at Judy's bedside turned upside down. A hand rested on her. When Abel heard the boy's cry for help and went to the room to check, he was bitten on the ear by the boy. Wendy was pulled and thrown against the wall. She fearfully hid in the closet. At this moment, Judy was pulled into the gap of the bed by a mysterious hand. Albert saw skulls placed under the well cover. Originally, Albert wanted to observe with the help of the firelight, but he accidentally set it on fire. When he returned to the room, he happened to run into the injured Abel. Then Judy and her eldest daughter cried for help. Albert kicked open the door and pulled Judy out. Then he kicked open the door to Wendy's closet. Wendy was being entangled by the devil. Albert prayed towards the inside. Only then did the surroundings calm down. Then Albert told Abel to take the others to the church for shelter. On the other side, the Pope discovered traces of altered records in the monastery. There must be secrets in the monastery that they don't want to be discovered. Albert brought Father Abel to see the dried up well. In addition to the skulls inside the well, the side wall is also engraved with the symbol of the Spanish Inquisition. It was the darkest period in Christian history. These skulls belong to the victims who refused to convert at that time. They soon noticed the hole in the wall. Albert smashed open the wall. A dusty secret room was discovered. There were many statues placed around. There was a mummified corpse in the iron cage in the center of the room. They determined based on the ring on the mummified corpse's hand, that person should have been a former bishop. The bishop was in the iron cage for self-protection. Usually, it's only when their exorcism attempts fail that they make this choice to prevent demonic possession. At this time, the Pope discovered in the monastery's records, he discovered a secret letter from that year. The writer of the letter was the person in the iron cage. The general content of the letter was, "No one has ever encountered such a powerful demon. All exorcism attempts by the church have failed. All he can do is prevent the demon from escaping, and then he and the demon will be forever buried here." So, although the demon is sealed within the monastery, the protective light of God cannot enter. After reading this, the Pope suddenly had a heart attack and was admitted to the hospital. Meanwhile, Albert noticed that there was another locked iron door in the secret room. Albert immediately guessed that the key to the iron door was swallowed by the person in the iron cage. After they opened the iron door, they arrived at a cave beneath the monastery. The air here was filled with a strong smell of sulfur, which meant they had reached the gates of hell. Because the Bible mentions that places where demons roam are filled with sulfur. The higher-ups in the church hurried to visit the Pope in the hospital. The Pope wanted to quickly call Albert back. There were many stone tablets surrounding the pool in the cave. There was also a mummified corpse sitting on the chair. They learned from the diary in the mummified corpse's hand that this person was one of the greatest exorcists. In the year 1475, he was sent here to exorcise a monk. During the investigation, the exorcist discovered that this demon could possess multiple people at once. The exorcism ended in failure. The exorcist himself was also possessed by the demon. Albert made a connection. It was because of the monks that the Inquisition was founded. This means that the dark period caused by the Inquisition was due to the demon possessing the exorcist. It infiltrated the church from within. Now the demon has reappeared. It's likely that the demon's seal was broken during construction work. They later found a map in the diary. Albert, based on the markings on the map, recalled a passage from the Book of Revelation. Legend has it that 200 furious angels were cast underground, and this monastery is one of the forgotten places by God. Albert suspects that the demon may be searching for its companions. If they were to form a legion, then the church will be destroyed. On the other side, Judy woke up to find herself alone in the church. After she came out, she noticed Wendy laughing and talking with the possessed boy. Their actions and behaviors were completely synchronized. Judy tried to find an excuse to take her daughter away, but her daughter was clearly under control. In the next moment, Judy was choked by Wendy to the point of suffocation. At the same time, Wendy's neck twisted almost 180 degrees, until Albert on the other side spoke the name of the demon. The demon let out a scream. Judy and her daughter were instantly saved. After Abel emerged from the cave, he remembered that the demon deliberately lured Albert there. Perhaps it intended to possess him. Now Abel must help Albert complete his repentance. This story goes back to World War II. Albert became a guerrilla fighter at that time. All of his teammates died during the war. Only Albert survived. This led him to years of self-blame. Later, his comrades appeared in his dreams and told him that God kept him alive for a reason. Albert could never forget a sentence from the Gospel of Matthew. It roughly means, "You are doing it for me when you help those in need." But Albert didn't live up to it. That person named Gina showed symptoms of being possessed by a demon, but he firmly believed that the woman had a mental issue, so he handed the case over to someone else. Not long after, Gina couldn't endure the torment and ended her own life. Albert heard that the Vatican was trying to cover up some rumors about Gina. Only then did he realize that he was wrong. He felt guilty for many years. This time, Albert must let go of the past. Otherwise, he would not be qualified to confront the devil. Before the ritual began, Albert gave the miraculous medal to Abel. Then he blessed Judy and her daughter. Albert reminded them that the devil is most skilled at deceiving through the senses. From now on, everyone should not trust their own eyes and ears. They entered the room. At this moment, Tino already had a pair of red eyes. The devil openly expressed the desire to possess Albert's body. Everyone saw different illusions. Albert saw Gina. Father Abel saw the woman he felt guilty towards. This time, neither of them wavered. Albert decisively shouted the name of the devil. He held up the cross in front of him, and a strong wind suddenly blew. Soon their prayers caused great pain to the devil. Finally, the boy fell unconscious on the bed. Right after, Albert noticed the words, "God is not here," were written on his body. At this moment, Wendy experienced an anomaly. After she made a grimacing face and started dancing robotically, she also lunged at Judy and launched a frenzied attack. Albert was pressed against the cabinet by an invisible force. The devil suspended Abel in mid-air. Albert could only agree to offer himself to the devil. Even the Pope in Rome sensed something bad was happening. Then Albert instructed Father Abel to take the people and leave. He stayed behind to confront the devil. Meanwhile, the Jesus statue in the Vatican started bleeding. Albert planned to end his own life here, so the devil wouldn't be able to leave this place. Just as Albert was about to die, the rope was suddenly torn apart. He tumbled to the ground. Albert felt his consciousness becoming increasingly blurred. Then he walked towards an underground cave. At this moment, countless red birds were flying here. Then a beam of light fell on the pool behind Albert. The Virgin Mary emerged from it. Albert immediately knelt down and prayed to her. The next moment, the Virgin Mary revealed her true form. Not long after, Abel rushed back. When he arrived here, Albert had been completely possessed. He sat in the original position of the mummy. The devil told him that Albert was already dead. The priest tried to awaken Albert, which angered the devil. Many demonic symbols appeared on the stone tablet. The priest did not retreat. He firmly believed that God resided within his heart. He began to pray on his knees. The surrounding symbols vanished. The devil was suppressed. Albert's consciousness gradually awakened. Then Albert's body floated in mid-air. He hovered above the pool, with the efforts of both individuals. Eventually, the devil left Albert's body. Initially, the priest thought the situation could come to an end. However, Gina suddenly appeared from behind the stone tablet. The woman Abel had once deeply loved was covered in blood. She lifted Abel over her head with one hand, and then she threw him into the pool. Gina wanted to strangle Albert. Albert reminded Abel to use the miracle medal. The priest placed the medal on the woman's forehead. The woman slowly melted and then exploded instantly. After Abel was saved, he threw the cross to Albert. Albert used the cross to push the devil into the pool. The pool instantly turned into scorching lava. Albert and the priest continued to pray against the devil. The devil disappeared completely. The pool also returned to its original appearance. At the end of the film, Father Abel and Albert returned to the Vatican together. The church bought the monastery from Judy. According to the diary of the monk, the devil named Asmundus, it was just one of the 200 violent angels. The church appointed Albert to find and deal with the remaining ones. Abel also voluntarily joined. The film ends. This film is a new release from 2023 titled The Pope's Exorcist. We can see the suffering of the victims in the film, their unwavering faith and the evil within human nature. The final meaning of the story is that faith is powerful. It can overcome any evil. The core message is clear. The film has good visual effects, sound, and pacing. The male lead's performance is good and allows the audience to empathize. The scene where Judy is trapped in the bed is surprising. Interested viewers can watch the original film. See you next time.